This is the Retirement Bullpen with Richard Warner. The team at Warner Financial Solutions want to help you feel confident about your retirement, no matter where you stand. Get more at warnerfinancialsolutions.com. Now, the Retirement Bullpen.
Thanks so much for listening to the Retirement Bullpen. I'm Jeff Miles. I am with Richard Warner of Warner Financial Solutions, where you can get all the information from the podcast today on the website at warnerfinancialsolutions.com. Make sure you are subscribed so you get notifications every time we have new content coming out for you. And Richard, first of all, how's everything going? You know what I haven't asked you about in a little bit, and this is on a personal front. I know that you coach a lot of baseball. Hence the name, the Retirement Bullpen, for the podcast. How's everything going with the season? Is it wrapped up yet, or what's
close.
Going on?
It's very close. We're kind of into the home stretch here. We're moving into the tournaments that move you on to state, and as far as that goes, so yeah, it's kind of been an up and down year.
And that's baseball. It's funny because I think that that's one of the reasons that baseball becomes such a parallel to life, is because there's so many ups and downs in baseball that are very much like the ups and downs in life, and so. Totally see where you're coming from.
I agree, man. I agree 100%.
If you could watch a game of baseball, some people might think that baseball is boring, right? Because they think it's a slow game to watch. Because I help my son. He's 10 years old, and he's played baseball. And one of the things that we've talked about is, as slow as a game may be, the amount of thinking that you have to do on every single pitch when you're a player in a baseball game that's kind of astronomical when you think about it. Because if you're out there in the field, there's 100 different scenarios that could happen on every single pitch, and you kind of have to be prepared for all of them, which is kind of how life works, right?
Yeah, your brain has got to be going. The grunt athlete, sometimes they may be great in another sport because they're maybe really fast or really, really big, really, really strong. But if maybe they're not all here every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Right.
Sometimes,
but you got to be
sometimes they can make good baseball players too, but you gotta use your head in baseball. And it always amazes me, Jeff, when people just don't get that game. I don't know. I love it. I love sitting and watching it. And yes, it's slower than football. It's slower than basketball, but it's just, there's so much thought. It's interesting. There's so many perspectives to life. There's perspectives to retirement. There's everything we do. I just think baseball is the best game that is like what we experience every day in the real world. But
well, you know what? In the grand scheme of things, a play in baseball moves very quickly. One play. Once the ball's in play, it moves very quickly, much like life does in the situation where something that's happening right now is moving very quickly. But life overall, like if you live to be 95 years old, that's a long time, and it's a slow go to get to the end of that, of the game of life. And, making decisions in baseball is much like life as well. And as you're getting towards, we talk about retirement all the time. It's the same thing as you're getting towards the later innings. And how do you kind of get to the end? How do you last? How do you pace yourself to make sure that everything is working correctly? Today, I want to talk a little bit about how healthcare may involve when you retire, because listen, you may be somebody who is, I'll just throw this as an example. What is it, 59 and a half when you start withdrawing from your 401k, let's say, right?
Right.
And you may think, I've got enough here to retire at 59 and a half. I don't even have to start necessarily taking Social Security yet, because I can't do that until, 62 or whatever. But the bigger issue is, if I leave my work, I don't have any health insurance and I don't have Medicare yet. What am I going to do in between?
It's a great question. There's a lot of answers to that, Jeff. So I'll kind of start where a lot of people think. And I see this in our practice. People are coming to us because they've been ready to retire for a few years. They're turning 65 and they know they can get Medicare, and that's their trigger point. And it is for a lot of people. That's their trigger point for Medicare. And it's a great solution when you hit 65. Some people have the confusion that they have to wait till they turn on their Social Security, that they can't get it till they're 66 or 67. 65 is the age when you can turn on your Medicare. But a lot of them, Jeff, could have retired sooner if they would have really done some research. So what are some things that we can do? The big problem a lot of people run into is they're working for a company. Their spouse is working for a company, and they have group health insurance. They need, at least they believe they need that health insurance to bridge the gap till they get to Medicare. That's not always the case. So a lot of you probably are aware, maybe aware, there's something called the Healthcare Act. Okay. That's insurance put in place that anybody can get. The Obama administration put that into place last decade, actually the decade before. It's been around for quite a few years now. You can get that at any point. You get a special enrollment. It can be triggered based on retirement or big life-changing events. There is an annual election period each year that can, somebody can jump into that. But that special enrollment period will allow you to get involved with that. That is an income-based thing. Okay. So some people can manage their income and pay very limited or no premiums depending upon what their situation is. Some people, that's not a good fit because Obamacare or the Healthcare Act insurance can be very expensive for some individuals. That is something to be aware of. Don't blindly go into that thinking, I'm just going to switch to that. Okay. There are put into force since the Trump administration what we call short-term health insurance plans. Now, the limitation to these is there's typically only 3 years of coverage you can get. So what I mean by that is it's not that you can't keep the health insurance for longer. It's something you have to qualify for. So a big advantage to the Healthcare Act is you don't have to qualify. You can be in any stage of health. Basically, the only health question, from my understanding, is do you smoke or not? Other than that, and it doesn't affect you getting it, it just might affect your rate a little bit. The short-term stuff has some qualification to it. So you've got to be healthy to get it, and you get to keep it for 3 years, and you may have to requalify. So if your gap of time is longer than 3 years, that can be a potential issue. But it is something to investigate. The other source that a lot of people forget about is you have COBRA in your group plan. You have the option of keeping that group plan for 18 months. Now, this doesn't necessarily allow a 59 and a half, like your example, to make it all the way to 65, but it could get a 63 and a half year old to be able to retire a little earlier than what they had planned. So these are all things.
And a year and a half is a year and a half.
Right, exactly.
Right. There's a lot of things you can do with that time.
Exactly. So those are three things that you can consider and look at. And this is something we help people with in our process is we're not just about numbers. We're not just about income. We're not just about investing. We're about helping individuals and couples create that plan to make that successful transition into retirement. That includes healthcare. Healthcare is part of that.
Right.
We have people in our office that take care of that, but that is something, if you're in that stage where, hey, man, I may have enough money. What do I do with healthcare? I would encourage you to look into that in some form because there are some solutions. Maybe you can't retire at 59 and a half with your healthcare situation, but maybe you can at 62, 63, something to that effect. You get a couple more years of retirement than you would have otherwise.
I'm just going to throw the part that some people may, and again, this is part of that. Do you have all of the information? And I'm going to address the elephant in the room. You might be somebody that's listening right now that I'm not going to deal with Obamacare because I didn't vote for him back when he did all of that, and I wasn't a fan of him doing that. Okay, fine. But if the program is there and it's available and it can help you retire early, would you deny that just based off of that fact? Because I'm just going to go ahead and say it. My mother would be that kind of person, right? Where she's like, well, I'm not going to do that because whatever. Why would you miss out on an opportunity to enjoy your life a little more?
Right. And I've met some people like that as well. The program is there whether you like it or not. And some people do, some people don't. We're not here to discuss that political side of it, but it's there. It can help you retire. Why not utilize it? So if it's a fit,
I agree.
And it's not hard to figure out if it's a fit. It doesn't take a lot of time to figure that out at all. So.
Right. So here's an interesting part of this, because I was thinking about, my particular situation. My wife is, she's 8 years younger than I am. So if I get to that point where I'm 59 and a half and I'm ready to retire and I've got the means to do so, and plus she's still working, I can be on her health insurance during that time to kind of bridge that gap in between. So I would like to say, well, I'm one of the lucky ones where it seems like a no-brainer, right? At the same time, it might be a different situation. And this one to me is a little bit more interesting. Let's say that my wife didn't work and she's 8 years younger than I am. She's currently on my health plan through my employer. and I'd like to then retire at, say, 59, 60 years old. How does that work?
So I'll tell you what I run into a lot is that person like you waits till his wife is 65. So he puts off retirement just blindly not looking.
Yeah.
What does that make? 73 roughly? Yeah. So how many years left of retirement do you have at that point? Statistics would say as a guy, maybe 10.
I mean, 20, I'm at 93.
Yeah. If you're healthy, you might, you probably got 20. If you're average statistic, you got maybe 10. And how good are those? How good are those years at that point? And again, a lot of people have some good, don't misunderstand what I'm saying, but if you can financial retire, don't let healthcare stop you from doing it, because there is a way to get it done. In your first situation, that's a great way. Marry a younger woman that has health benefits.
You're lucky.
Now, my wife doesn't work.
That's exactly what I was thinking about 20 years ago.
You picked her because I think she's going to have good health insurance. But my wife has been a stay-at-home mom. She helps out in does some different things. But again, she doesn't have health insurance benefits, and so it's definitely something we would have to consider. Now, quite frankly, I'm self-employed, so we have to figure this out every single year. There are solutions to the problem. The key is don't put the blinders on. Don't just say, I got to wait till she's 65. I got to wait till I'm 65. Talk to somebody, get some information. It might be a fit. It might not be a fit. It might not be exactly what you want, but maybe we can get a few more years of retirement than you would have otherwise. There's things and ways, and there's new things appearing and concepts that are being discussed on the health insurance side all the time, because things like this arise. How do we solve this? The insurance industry has always been very good, in my opinion, about creativity, and they see a need. Let's create something to fit that need. So it's worth asking. It's worth checking into. It's worth discussing. But the three main ways we've kind of discussed. It's either that COBRA, it's either the Healthcare Act, or short-term healthcare insurance. Or I like your way there too, Jeff. I mean, go find yourself a younger woman that has health benefits.
Right. Yeah. I mean, hey, listen, luck can be on your side on things that you had no idea about. So there are options out there. But you know what? Here's the biggest takeaway is that maybe you have a friend or somebody says, well, what are you going to do about healthcare? And so you just kind of turn it off. Like you said, put the blinders on, and you don't even think to ask anybody about it, because you just make that assumption. Well, I'm not going to be able to until I can get to Medicare age. Hey, go ahead and go talk to somebody like Richard, a financial advisor that can help you through this process. There's so many times we have these conversations where I have to think that the person who comes in almost has that wow moment where they're like, I had no idea. And now they start thinking about all of the things that you really want to be thinking about when you're thinking about retirement. Hey, we could do this. Hey, we could do that. Instead of, here's why we can't do that yet. Here's why we can't retire yet. And I think that's the biggest
one thing
part
just did pop into my head here, Jeff, real quick, to add what we've been discussing, because I've seen some creative people throughout my time doing this. I've met several people that they didn't necessarily love what they did. They had the means to retire, but the health care side of it was a problem. So these people found a job that they liked. They liked the job. They liked the hours. The pay was maybe dramatically less. But everything else they got out of it was a fit. They got creative. So now I'm doing something I enjoy. I don't mind going to work. And under the new healthcare laws, you don't have to work 40 hours a week to get healthcare benefits anymore. So you can work a shorter week. Yeah. Maybe find something that has a few more vacation weeks. So you've got some time to take some trips, but something that you can get healthcare benefits from. Yeah, maybe you got to start digging into retirement. That's not bad. That's what it's there for, to supplement.
Well, I mean, you were going to do that anyway if you were going to retire.
Right. Exactly.
But you didn't because of healthcare, right?
Exactly. I've met some people that made that kind of transition and then found, man, I really like this. And they kept working for a long time because they loved what they were doing. A lot of people quit what they do just because they hate the job. But there's other things. When you have means, you can take those means and put them along something else.
Sure. To
maybe create a lifestyle that is a semi-retirement type of lifestyle that provides some of those other benefits that you are looking for.
Yeah.
Again, it's all about what are you after and what are you willing to do to get there, and finding a way to do it.
Yeah.
Creating a plan and making that happen.
This is why speaking to a financial advisor is so important, because you may have things, you may have ideas, you may be that creative person that, listen, there may be something you love doing, and you can get into an industry doing that very thing or being in that very thing that you love doing, and you're able to still get that health care, maybe work a lot less on the time end of things. You're doing something you enjoy. You're able to also start drawing from that retirement at a point where you feel like you can financially, and everybody's happy. These are the conversations people, I think, need to really start paying attention to, as opposed to just taking the, oh, well, I'm not going to have anything for healthcare, so I can't.
Right.
And, explore the opportunities. Great stuff. It's funny because this actually relates to the name of the show, the retirement bullpen, because any great baseball manager would tell you that one of the most important people is the unspoken, and that is the setup guy.
Yep.
And this is the setup guy. This is basically the person you bring in the 7th, 8th inning to get to the closer, right? And you got to have great pitchers in that bullpen to bridge that gap, so to speak.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
So listen, if you want more information on how you can maybe retire a little early, maybe healthcare is something that's holding you back, reach out to Richard Warner of Warner Financial Solutions and go to the website at warnerfinancialsolutions.com. Again, warnerfinancialsolutions.com. I feel like a lot of solutions are really starting to become a theme for the podcast as well, Richard, which is pretty awesome.
Hey, that's what it's all about. How do you get from point A to point B in the most efficient and successful way? So
very good. Well, listen, great time with you again today, man. If you are listening right now and you want more content, then make sure that you subscribe to the podcast so you get the notifications. Let's get you retired and happy and on your way to living your best years.
I like that.
Very good. Thanks, man, and have a good one.
You too. Take care.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Warner Financial. Warner Financial is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Warner Financial are not subject to investment advisor requirements. NPN number 7617022. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be considered as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Warner Financial is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Warner Financial.
Please remember that converting an employer plan account to a Roth IRA is a taxable event. Increased taxable income from the Roth IRA conversion may have several consequences. Be sure to consult with a qualified tax advisor before making any decisions regarding your IRA.